I was buried beneath my shame. Who could carry that kind of weight? It was my tomb till I met you. I was breathing but not alive. All my failures I tried to hide. It was my truth till I met you. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, yeah. Out of the darkness into your glorious day. It's okay to move a little bit, yeah. Worship the Lord. Now your mercy has saved my soul. Now your freedom is all that I know. The old made new, yes, Jesus, when I met you. Oh, what a day when you called my name. Come on. And I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. At the weight of your glory, I needed shelter, I was an orphan, and you called me a citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you are my healing. Now your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future, my eyes are open, 'cause when you call my name, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, yeah. Out of the darkness into your glorious day.
There's honey in the rock, water in the stone, manna on the ground, no matter where I go. I don't need to worry now that I know everything I need you've got. There's honey in the rock. For a miracle, thirsty for the living well. Only you can satisfy. Sweetness at the mercy seat. Now I've tasted It's not hard to see. Only you can satisfy. There's honey in the rock. 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 Freedom where the Spirit is, bounty in the wilderness. You will always satisfy. There's honey in the rock, water in the stone, manna on the ground, no matter where I go. I don't need to worry now that I know everything I need you've got. There's honey in the rock, purpose in the plan, power in the blood, healing in your hands. Started flowing when you said it is done. Everything you did's enough. I keep looking, I keep finding, you keep giving, keep providing. I have all that I need. You are all that I need. I keep praying, you keep moving. I keep praising, you keep proving. I have all that I need. You are all that I need. I keep looking, I keep finding, you keep giving, keep providing. I have all that I need. You are all that I need. I keep praying, you keep moving. I keep praising, you keep proving. I have all that I need. You are all that I need. I have all that I need. You are all that I need. Yeah. There's honey in the rock, water in the stone, manna on the ground, no matter where I go. I don't need to worry now that I know everything I need you've got. There's honey in the rock, purpose in your plans, power in the blood, healing in your hands. Started flowing when you said it is done. Everything you did's enough. There's honey in the rock. 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 Oh, how sweet it is to trust in you, Jesus. Oh, how sweet it is to trust in you, Jesus. Oh, how sweet it is to trust in you, Jesus.
The rocks will cry out, the oceans will roar, the mountains will bow to the name of the Lord. He is our God, He will be praised. The idols will fall, the strongholds will break, every weapon that forms will shatter and fail. He is our God, He is our faith. Praise is the highway to the throne of God. Praise is the highway to the heart of God. Praise is the lift up your head, fling wide the gates, and break down the walls with a shout of praise, and lift up your voice, pull heaven down, oh sing like thunder, his praise is loud. Now lift up your head, fling wide the gates, and break down the walls with a shout of praise, and lift up your voice, pull heaven down, oh sing like thunder, his praise is loud. Praise is the highway to the throne of God. Praise is the highway to the heart of God. Praise is the highway to the move of God. Now lift up your head, fling wide the gates, and break down the walls with a shout of praise, and lift up your voice, pull heaven down, oh sing like thunder, his praise is loud, and lift up your head, fling wide the gates, and break down the walls with a shout of praise, and lift up your voice, pull heaven down, oh sing like thunder, his praise is loud. Praise is the highway to the throne of God. Praise is the highway to the heart of God. Praise is the highway to the move of God.
We're still in the series, Always Pray. And I want to give you a little background history. Some of you have been here long enough, you know some of it. Others have been not so long, so it will be new to you. But this week I had last Sunday afternoon, I actually had a revelation I thought was rather interesting, at least it was for me. I'm going to tell it to you. You may not care, but I was appreciative. So the background is, in 1971, I accepted Christ. In 1973, I was I was licensed to the gospel ministry. And on May the 5th, 1974, I was ordained by Sizzle Square Baptist Church. The reason I was ordained by that church was because I was getting ready to pastor Kingsburg Baptist Church, which was my first pastorate. Now, all that to this. Last Sunday afternoon, I'm sitting in my house, minding my own business, and my daughter calls and says, "Dad, do you have a jack?" Well, for those who don't know, jack means work. I said, "Yes, I have a jack. It's a very heavy jack, and you can borrow my truck to haul it on if you like." So they came and got the jack, and what they're doing is, their little project was that their storage building had gotten unlevel, and they wanted to jack it up, brick it up, level it up. So they loaded the jack, and I said, "Who you got helping?" And Billy Hayes. I said, "Okay, I'll come down then." So I went down, and Kyra and Nate and Billy and I, we just worked around and did it. And I was standing there after we got it jacked up and leveled. I said, "Lord, I got a question. This stuff to me is just, this is what I do. In fact, I looked at their trampoline that had been blown over the fence by a windstorm, and I saw there was a piece. I went back to the shop, made a piece, put it in. And I don't do all this stuff on Sunday normally, but it was just kind of get this stuff done. And I said, Lord, I'm a hands-on guy. I see it. I want to fix it. Why did you take a guy like me and put me in the ministry? And here's the revelation. Because this over here, you don't really need me. But in the ministry, you got to have me. Now, again, that didn't mean anything to any of y'all, but I just wanted to tell it because I thought it was good. Okay. And another reason for sharing that is that the very first thing that happened in my life was prayer. Prayer and discipleship, which was so important, and that's what we continue to do here. And as we think about just always being in prayer, one of the things that's really crucial, we talked about it some last week, I'm doing a little more this week, but corporate prayer and the results of corporate prayer, because that's important to know that. And the hardest thing in the 50 years of ministry that I've done is getting people to come together and pray. Even as I say that today, it breaks my heart, but it's true. Because you see, there's not glamour necessarily in prayer, but it's just the work. The disciples, Lord, teach us to pray. They got it. They connected the dots. It'd be great if we would do that. Those disciples who had asked Jesus to teach them to pray, right after he appeared to them and ascended to heaven, they went and they started praying. They were told what? Just go wait. You're going to get the promise of the Father. Excuse me. And they went and just prayed together. And I got to tell you, when it says that these were of one mind, continually devoting themselves to prayer, the women, Mary, the mother of Jesus, and even the brothers of Jesus who had been not so in favor of him being in ministry. And they're all there praying, and they were in one mind, and this was before the Holy Spirit. Well, think about that. What does that take? What it takes is this. They laid aside their selfishness and self-centeredness. Did you hear me? They laid aside their selfishness and self-centeredness. And it wasn't about them, but instead it was focusing on the Lord and what his heart was and what his desire was and what his purposes were. I think that is still true for his church today. No matter where it may be in the world, whether it's in Chester, South Carolina, or the folks that we had last week who are in Northern Africa, or the ones a few weeks before that who are in India and other parts of the world. When we as a people of God truly come to this place of honoring him and laying down our lives as living sacrifices as he sees fit, then the world gets changed. The Holy Spirit comes, people are convicted, they're saved, they're baptized. And then it says, and they were continually devoting themselves to the apostles' teaching, to fellowship, to the breaking of bread, and to... You're my man, Gary. And prayer. They were doing what? Continually devoting themselves to the apostles' teaching, to the fellowship. And by the way, fellowship, God, let me just go ahead and offend all of you. The fellowship here wasn't talking about the weather or sports or things of that nature. This was when they got together to talk about the things of God. Breaking of bread. There's something about putting your feet under a table. Yes, this was communion as well, but the breaking of bread, to have mealtime together. and spending that time together in prayer. Now, I added this a little later, so it's not going to be up on your screen. The next verse, verse 43, Acts chapter 2. And everyone kept feeling a sense of awe, and many wonders and signs were taking place through the apostles. So Sheila and I have been working on this week, and in my notes, but not just in my notes, but in my Bible, I have this question: where's the awe? We have become so accustomed to church being routine and nothing, it's just we come. Did we have great music? And yes. Do we have great fellowship in the sense of meeting one another, sharing with one another? Yes. Is there teaching? Yes. But where's the awe? Well, somebody came to me a while ago and said, if all the Bible were taken away except one verse, what verse would you keep? I said, well, mine's easy. In the beginning, God. Because that covers everything else. In the beginning, God. So are we in awe? And so as we were talking about this week about awe, what is there that we have awe about? Well, for me, one would be creation. God spoke and it was. Are you kidding? And then redemption. That Jesus, the Son of God, was willing to lay down his glory in heaven and come here, and at our hands, human hands, his creation would give his life so we could have life and have it eternally. Are we not in awe of that? So that's new birth. And one of the things that I've tried to do over the years when I see that someone is coming to know Christ is bring somebody else in and let them see how this miracle of new birth that's done by the Holy Spirit takes place, because it is absolutely awesome. When someone is birthed by the Holy Spirit from the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of light. I'm just thinking that maybe we need to work on the awe factor in our own personal lives. And what is it that we focus on? I didn't bring my phone up here. I try not to bring it when I'm up here. But when I'm at the beach, my favorite thing at the beach is to be up early, be on the pier at sunrise. If you look at my phone, you're going to see a picture of sunrise almost every day that I've been at the beach for the last, I guess, as long as I've had a cell phone that took pictures. And I'll never forget one morning, I'm up on the pier, sun's coming up. Glorious, glorious, glorious. That's my favorite time of worship. Water, sunrise, doesn't get any better than that for me. And I happen to notice a couple walking down the beach. So they're walking down the beach. The buildings are here. The ocean is here. Sunrise is there. And they're walking down the beach with their phones, taking pictures of buildings. Oh, but it got better. Right behind them, literally yards off the sand, were porpoises coming along just like this. To my knowledge, those folks never saw the sunrise or the porpoises, but they got really good pictures of the buildings. I don't know what brings awe to your life, but here it was saying there's this sense of awe. They're in relationship with one another, but more importantly, they're in relationship with God, and because of that, they're in awe. And then we have here baby dedication. Can you not see a new baby and be in awe of God? We recently went to the Palmetto Women's Center Gala, and I got to tell you, I was surprised by their speaker. Normally, when you go to one of these, and I've been to several, you hear the testimony of someone who has somehow avoided abortion and lived. And then the story of what God has done in their life as a result of their living. This speaker was different. She was one of the ones who did the abortions. And she was the director of a Planned Parenthood clinic. And she said, I'd been in the business. I'd been promoted. I'd won awards. But I had never been involved in an abortion. And then one day, one of the doctors called me back and asked me to assist in an abortion. She said, you would have thought, when I saw the horror of that, it would have changed me. But it didn't. In fact, when she said what she said, I thought, man, that just sounds way too familiar. She said, in fact, what it did was it just hardened my heart a little bit more. But then, you talk about the God we have that we need to be in awe of. The God that we have that we need to be in awe of let her and her husband have a baby. And so the next time she was asked to come back and assist in an abortion, she could only see her child. And some of our folks who were there with us that night said, when she was describing that, all I wanted to do was make you puke on the table, because it did. But then, our God, glorious God that He is, in awe of who we should be in such a great, transforms this woman into one that's now going across the nation, saying life is of God, and we should not end it prematurely. That's our God. As I mentioned, the sun rises for me at the beach. But just to be outside, to enjoy His creation. It says God spoke and it was. And so there's the trees and there's all the insects and all the animal kingdom and the whole thing. Are we not in awe? Well, I'm going to back up just a little bit and say, I think one reason we're not in awe, because we don't really know where to look. Because sometimes we're so busy looking here, we can't look there. I use my phone all the time. I do. But it has become a god in our culture today. What if we took some time and just say, God, we're just going to be quiet for a little bit. We're going to focus on you. What you're up to, what your will is, what your way is. We're going to focus on seeing you in those everyday events. That we can be the people that truly live in awe of who you are and what you're doing and what you've done. These guys, they just continue to pray. That's why I want you to corporate prayer. Praying together. Matthew 18. If 2 or 3 agree together. Well, I could be wrong, but I think the prerequisite for 2 or 3 agreeing together is you have to be together. Peter and John were going up to the temple. It's the 9th hour, the hour of prayer. See, prayer was woven into their culture. That's how it worked. That's how they did it every day. And it should be for us as well. And I know that we can't always be in corporate prayer, but when the opportunity presents itself, and I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute, then we should be involved in that. On the way to prayer, and I know I'm covering last week some, guy gets healed. Power of God. They get arrested for having been used by God. But they get released. And they go back to their companions and report all this happened. And when the people of God heard what God had done, they lifted their voices to God in one accord and said, "O Lord, it is you who made the heaven and the earth and the sea and all that's in them." What's the first component of our prayer life? It's praise. Praise. And when we're praising Him, I promise you we're going to be in awe of Him, who by the Holy Spirit through the mouth of our father David, your servant, said, "Why do the Gentiles rage and the people devise futile things? The kings of earth took their stand, and the rulers were gathered together against the Lord, against His Christ." See, they're going through this and they're praising God for who He is, what He's done, and the fact that they have salvation through Christ. For even the city was gathered together against Jesus. The rulers against Jesus. But all of this was your predetermined will. You chose that this was the way of redemption. And now, Lord, take note of their threats and give us a really, really, really good place to go hide. Anybody reading this beside me? Lord, give us words of confidence. Use us as your hand for healing, for signs and wonders, that all of this can bring glory and praise to the name of your servant Jesus. And as they prayed, the place where they gathered together was shaken, and they were all filled with the Holy Spirit, began to speak the words of God with what? Boldness, which is what they'd asked for to begin with. Lord, just let us be bold. Are we? I met with a pastor friend of mine this week, and we always have great discussion. And he said, "Steve, if we're in, as we believe, the last days, then why are we not more bold?" I didn't answer his question immediately. In fact, I didn't answer it at all that day. But I think the reason we're not more bold is because we're not in awe of our God. We just see it as some kind of routine we go through. So what are we going to do about it? Anything? Nothing. I realize that not everybody can be here during the week, but we have a prayer room that's open all week long. And we'd love to have you come and pray. On Sunday morning, before the service, we have a prayer room. We'd love to have you pray. Sunday evening, 6 o'clock in the social hall. Come for prayer. Thursday morning out in the atrium. Come for prayer. Can you not just give it a try? And please let me say very candidly, those who are involved in this and say, "Oh, does that mean those who are doing this some super saint and we're not?" No, I don't know how to help you get this, but it is in our heart as we are truly in awe of God and who He is and what He is doing and how He is ministering and working and accomplishing great things, that we can honor Him.